Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Garrison. I want to welcome you to this session of Humanity Rising as we convene our second of 5 programs, re-examining the pandemic and the vaccines that were mandated during that time. Before we delve into this domain, I just want to interrupt our broadcast with a special report that is very important for us here at Ubiquity University and Humanity Rising to share with all of you that yesterday, Jim Hickman, who was the chairman of the board and chief financial officer, passed very suddenly in his sleep. He was found yesterday morning by his son, Daniel, and all of us are in complete shock. I talked with Jim just last Friday, and we had a very animated conversation about a variety of board issues and programmatic issues. A number of people have been interacting with him normally. He seemed vital, he seemed energetic, he seemed enthusiastic. And then he passed. I want to just say something personally for a moment. I think of all the friends I've ever had, Jim Hickman was the friend who I trusted the most deeply. We met in the early 1980s. I was a struggling doctoral student at Cambridge. We instantly bonded, and we worked on the Soviet American issue together. He was the executive director of the Esalen Institute Soviet American Exchange Program. I came in after I finished my PhD as his second. He was an extraordinary, brilliant intelligence, I would say, on the world stage at that moment, really creating the field of citizen diplomacy between the Soviet Union and the United States. This was the time of Gorbachev. And then when I had my meeting with Gorbachev at the end of 1991 and embarked on a 10-year relationship with Mr. Gorbachev, it was Jim Hickman that was my first call. And it was Jim and I that organized Gorbachev's trips around the United States and the State of the World forums and everything that we did during the 1990s and early 2000s to bring the Soviets and the Russians and the Americans more closely together. And then when I embarked on the university phase of my life, Ubiquity University, Jim again was my first call to be chairman of the board and the secretary treasurer. He and I honored each other. We always had each other's back. And you know, Aristotle, in his Nicomachean Ethics, says that of all the virtues leading to happiness, the chief virtue is friendship. And I think if we're honest with ourselves and we try to really number the people that we would consider deep friends, most of us could put that number on one hand. Friendship is rare. Deep friendship is even more rare. For 45 years, I had a deep friendship with Jim Hickman. And the fact that he just took off yesterday has left me in a state of shock, actually. And I wanted to just share with our community, of which he was our chairman, this news. We're going to be honoring him on the 25th of March on Humanity Rising. He and I were planning the session on the 25th of March to talk about the citizen diplomacy and how citizen diplomacy during the late Soviet and Gorbachev period could be reapplied to what's going on between Russia and the West and Russia and the United States right now. And so there was big plans afoot. So we're going to use that day to bring people together who knew him and loved him, to celebrate a life and celebrate an empowerment of citizens to make peace in our world, of which Jim Hickman was one of the pioneers and one of the giants upon whose shoulders we all sit. So thank you, everyone, for allowing me to express my deep love and appreciation for the dearest of friends. We want to turn now to the issue of the pandemic and the vaccines. As I said yesterday, as we opened our program, we are doing this with some fear and trembling because we know that this issue has been a source of not only deep controversy and polarization, but has been repressed by the governments, not only in the United States, but around the world through coercion and the repression of social media. We founded Humanity Rising out of the pandemic as a way to allow people to come together. And that's why it became such an extraordinary attractor for so many thousands of people who registered to join our programs from over 130 countries around the world. So the Humanity Rising impulse came right out of the pandemic. And we're hopeful that the algorithms who govern these things on Facebook and YouTube and the various live streaming partners that we have will know that Donald Trump is now president. Robert Kennedy Jr. is now the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and permission is being granted by the Chief Executive of the United States to have this conversation. So it's in that spirit that we want to turn today to the children. And I want to just say, as a newly privileged grandfather whose little grandson, Charlie, has just turned 1, the chief concern I had for him and his health as we've been is that he not be vaccinated. But we're in a country and in a state, in this case, California, where it's mandated or you can't go to school and other things happen to you. So talking about our children is personally impactful, not only on me, but most of the people listening to this broadcast.